ABC News.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Yasmin Hassan. The Zodiac killer terrorized the California Bay Area from the late 1960s to the early 70s. Police investigated thousands of potential suspects, but to this day, the killer has never been caught. A Yakima woman has written a book based on true events called Whatever Happened to the Zodiac Killer. It includes her story of a face-to-face encounter with who she believes is the Zodiac Killer. Ted Skroback talked to that author, and here is her story.
In 1978, San Francisco police were certain the Zodiac had surfaced once again when a 16th letter was received.
Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking. I am back with you.
I'll never forget that face.
Catherine Fitzpatrick is the author of the new book and details the encounter she and her husband had with the man who they think is the Zodiac Killer.
Just about the way you see that bridge on the cover of my book is where this happened. We pull in, and here is the same man.
On a mid-October night in 1978, Catherine and her husband John had seen the same man watching couples from his car at 3 separate viewpoints near San Francisco.
And he realizes that we have seen him in the third place in the space of 25 minutes. I'm sure he wondered, how is that even possible?
The man was approaching a couple at the last viewpoint. Once he saw Catherine and John's car, the man then turned and ran back to the car to escape the area. John quickly said,
"That's the Zodiac, let's get him."
The couple took off after a white car the man was driving. They were attempting to write down the license plate number as they chased him down Highway 101.
We were going like at 105, 110. You kind of get a do-or-die attitude.
After the alleged Zodiac began to pull away from the couple's car, a woman switched into their lane, causing them to slow and avert a crash.
And he just shot ahead, and suddenly we couldn't see, like, which exit did he take? What happened? You know, he just evaporated into thin air.
Catherine and her husband alerted a highway patrol officer once they lost sight of the vehicle. An alert was put out, but no vehicle was found. In her book, she outlines a theory of what she thinks happened to the man that night that they were chasing. Also in the book is a story of a woman that had a different face-to-face encounter with who they think the Zodiac Killer is. I'll have more on both of those stories in a later report. In Yakima, Ted Skroback, your local ABC.
Thank you, Ted. The Zodiac Killer has never truly been identified, and we'll have Ted's report more tomorrow.
This is your local ABC News.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Yasmin Hassan. We are continuing our two-part series on the Zodiac Killer this evening. Yesterday, we brought you the story of an author from Yakima who believes she saw the killer. Her book, Whatever Happened to the Zodiac Killer, is said to be based on true events. It also features the story of a woman who claims she met the killer. Your local ABC's Ted Skroback has the second part of their story.
In the last report, I talked to author Catherine Fitzpatrick about her encounter with a man she thinks is the Zodiac Killer. On an October morning in 1978, her husband John had been reading the newspaper that published the final known Zodiac letter. The Zodiac claimed he would take another life that weekend. A chance encounter at Vista Viewpoint above the Golden Gate Bridge had the couple chasing the alleged Zodiac in their car, but he was able to get away traveling south on Highway 101. Catherine says she will never forget that face. It is the same face that the character Sharon, as she's called in the book, believes she saw 9 years earlier.
He had just evil, evil eyes.
Catherine uses the name Sharon to protect her identity. Her encounter happened soon after her close friends Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were brutally attacked by the Zodiac. After the attack in 1969, Sharon and other close friends were told by authorities to follow any leads if they could safely. One day, Sharon was talking to a neighbor about a suspicious man they saw riding the city bus.
He said he was talking about all kinds of weird stuff, the signs of the Zodiac, and he was just saying stuff that was creepy. And he got off at the Aquarius Bar on First Street in Napa.
Sharon and a few friends went to the bar where they spoke with the man they believe is the Zodiac Killer.
He guessed each of our Zodiac sign accurately without knowing our birthdays. Now that in itself is pretty creepy.
By the time they could alert authorities, the man had left the bar. They had set up another time to meet the man at the same bar, but he never showed. The girls wrote down everything they could remember from a 30-minute-long conversation with the man and handed it over to investigators.
And he said, "I don't want to scare you girls, but this guy told you things that the Zodiac has told police that's never been released to the public.
Another face-to-face encounter with a possible Zodiac. Both women believe that they saw the same person, but whatever happened to the Zodiac, and why did it take Catherine 4 decades to actually write this book? Well, she says new details emerged in another chance meeting between her daughter and the grandson of an investigator that said that he had more information on what happened that night that she went on the chase.
He drove all night on 101 is what he said. And when he got to Southern California, he parked the car. Who knows how long he walked. But he made a decision to end his life.
Catherine uses words from the last Zodiac letter to help complete her theory that he committed suicide in the ocean and was never active again. She claims a John Doe body had washed up on the coast near Santa Barbara.
There was no communication between Santa Barbara police and San Francisco police, who were waiting to have someone for John and I to look at, and so it fell down there.
In Yakima, Ted Skroback, your local ABC.
Thank you, Ted. Catherine says many books have been published in recent years, but both she and Sharon agree that no one claiming to be the Zodiac has the same face that they both saw. The mystery remains unsolved.